All right, how's everyone doing? I am Rich CELENZA. Thanks for checking out the show. Just a heads up, I may be changing the names or the name of the show to the Rich CELENZA Anti-Aging Experience. If I do that, don't be shocked if you see it. I'm kind of always experimenting and trying things, and I thought that would be kind of a cool name. I've changed them before, but I always go back to the original, but we'll see. But what I want to talk about today is actually, do you lead yourself on? If you know anything about me, I help people with relationships, and I'm not going to stop doing that. But this has really nothing to do with relationships necessarily, with the exception of yourself. But I will say at the beginning what I kind of mean by this. So let's just say, for instance, you communicate, through text, and a lot of times you may get led on. Somebody may hit you up and say, "Hey, let's meet up this weekend." It could be work, friends, family members, or "Hey, let's go out for a drink. Let's go out for dinner. Let's meet up for coffee." And you're like, "Yeah, sounds great. Send me what time." And then you don't hear anything back from them. And then the entire weekend passes, and then you may hear from them, say in a week. Or you may never hear from them again until like the future. Then they'll be like, "Hey, what happened? I thought we were going on." "Oh, yeah, I forgot about that." Which that made no sense to me, because if you're the one reaching out to me, how are you forgetting? Or they'll be like, "Oh, I didn't see your text." Or, "Oh, I hit the text, but it didn't go through." A lot of these things are bullshit. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you up front. If somebody does reach out, I'm going to give you advice if you want it or not. If somebody reaches out to me and says, "Hey, let's meet up this weekend," or "Let's meet up," I'm like, "Yeah, sure. Let me know what time." They kind of blow you off, and then they come back to you and say, "Really, I was busy," or whatever. I usually say, "That's cool. This is when I'm available." Because then they're going to have to kind of accommodate you if you still want to meet with this person. But I think a lot of people reach out to people wanting to maybe meet them, but really not. And it's more just kind of just pretending to a certain degree that you want to spend time with them, when a lot of times they don't. And it gets kind of confusing, or you're not a priority. So back to you, to a certain degree, I'm going to just say, you kind of doing this to yourself. Now, that sounds crazy because you're doing it with somebody, but you may, when it comes to your health and wellness and mental state of mind, or just, in general, a lot of times you may be saying things inside your head that you want to do for yourself, but then for some reason, you never follow up. You blow it off. A lot of times even pretend to forget, even though you didn't. You kind of lie to yourself. All these different types of things. And that is one of the worst things you can do, I believe, to yourself. And it's just outright lying to yourself. And you know it, and I know this. We have all done this, I think. We've all said we're going to do certain things, and we know deep down inside we're most likely not going to do them. That could be, what you want to do personally, or what you've said to other people, like, "Yeah, I'll do that with you. That sounds great. Oh, you're going hiking? When? Oh, in 3 weeks? Hit me up." And deep down inside you don't want to go hiking, or you're going to come up with an excuse. You just don't want to be the one to be the jerk to say, "I don't want to go," because I don't want to go. I will say this. The one thing I've learned in my life is being 100% honest with people when it comes to things you want to do with others and yourself. Both of those things have to line up. You can't always be kind of bullshitting others and then kind of do what you want to do. And at the same time, you can't always be doing what other people want to do and then bullshitting yourself. It's all got to line up. So here's the deal. If someone says to me, "Hey, Rich, we're going fishing," I immediately say, and believe me, I have a lot of friends and family members and close friends that fish, "I'm out." "No, you'll love it this time. We're deep seaing in the Keys for the weekend." "I don't care. I'm out." "No, it's just local. We're going to actually come by your house on the lake." "I'm out." See, my point being is, I stand firm. And here's the deal. Then they know not to bother me with that shit anymore. That's kind of what you got to start doing with yourself. And I don't mean to be harsh, but if you want to start taking care of yourself, too, besides kind of being harsh, you have to take a realistic approach. I talk about it all the time. Stop thinking again, because I know New Year's is coming up, that you're going to start waking up at a certain time. Maybe that's unrealistic. You're going to be working out a certain amount of times. That's unrealistic. You're going to go on a certain type of diet. That's unrealistic. You're going to all of a sudden alter your entire life. Now, it may work. It may work. Some people it does work. But if you're somebody where you've tried it numerous times throughout your life and it doesn't work, don't necessarily think it's going to work now. I'm not saying it can't work either. But you've got to kind of take, I believe, a lot of times, that honest approach, not lying to yourself. It's saying, "Hey, I'm not a morning person. So, I got to be at work at 9. I'm not going to start getting up at 5:36 in the morning. I've tried this for 10, 20 years. It doesn't work." You're going to have to get off your ass and say, "After work, I'm going to have to work out. Or I'm going to have to work out later." I'm just using that for an example. With a diet, listen, if you've tried numerous diets and they don't work, because most people are going to quit them. So don't think, if you quit diets, that's 99% of the people out there. Usually people are not going to stick with the same diet throughout their life, most likely. You may change some of your eating habits, which is wonderful. But again, take that approach and don't lie to yourself. Don't lead yourself on. Again, I talk about portion control, maybe learning how to eat different types of foods. That's cool. But again, taking that approach where, hey, you know what? I'm not going to quit this entirely. I'm going to maybe go on, or I shouldn't say a diet, but I'm going to go on something and experiment. Doesn't mean I have to be full throttle 7 days a week. Start seeing if I like the foods. But in the meantime, too, and you may be thinking I'm saying the half-assed. Again, I'm just saying you got to build a little momentum when it comes to anti-aging or just getting healthier. And people are either all or they're nothing. And usually it ends up with nothing. Most people quit. That's the last thing we want you to do. I did a video not long ago, or a podcast, I should say. Like, even I tell people a lot of times, if you can't find what you want when working out, so if the gym isn't your thing, running isn't your thing, tennis isn't your thing, swimming isn't your thing, keep going. But in between that, you have to keep working out, even if it's maybe for a certain time doing things you don't want to do. Because you can't just work out for a week and quit and say, you know what, I got to find something else. 2-3 months down the road, you find something else, try it out for a week or two and quit. But that's the same thing with life, with anti-aging, I believe, is that consistency. And again, not leading yourself on. Be blunt with yourself. I'm telling you, a lot of times we lie to ourselves. We create lists. Go back to the list. Most of the time you don't follow them. It's more, or goals, right? A goal list. Or if we if we exercised, I shouldn't even say exercise. If we took care of ourselves as much as a lot of people talk about it or watch it on YouTube or listen about it, you know what type of shape you'd be in? You'd probably be in incredible shape. So my point being again is do not lead yourself on. All right, I just want to emphasize that. When you're about to lie to yourself, and I'm not saying we don't lie to ourselves regarding certain things, but when it comes to your health, if you don't feel good, stop saying, you know what I mean, get to the doctor. Stop thinking, oh, this will just work itself out. If you're gaining weight, stop pretending that it's not affecting you when it is. If you don't like the way you look, stop pretending that you don't give a shit to people, because you probably do. You don't like any direction you're going in, you got to attack it. You know what I mean? So, anyways, you got any questions or comments, please feel free to hit me. I'm at rich@richcelenza.com. Like I said, I'm going to be working on a lot of anti-aging things. And I will wrap it up with this, stress. I think a lot of people lying to themselves puts a lot more stress than they realize. Because I think they start to feel like a failure, a loser. I even think sometimes a liar to themselves, or they ignore it. Like I said, and let's face it, you can't ignore yourself. That's impossible. You can't blow yourself off. And I do think there does come a point in your life, you're like, oh, I'm 45 years old. This is my body. This is all I got. I can't do any better. If you want to do better, I can assure you, you can do better. So, anyways, take care, everyone, and I wish you nothing but the best.